Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be checking out the Broadside overdrive from Hello Sailor Effects. Hello Sailor Effects are made by Joe Halliday, who is a petty officer from the Royal Navy. He's been building pedals for about 10 years and his goal is to make great sounding and great looking pedals that you don't have to remortgage your home to afford. So I agree with the fact that it's great looking, it looks awesome. He's kind of got this relic look going on. I said on my Instagram post about this that it kind of looks like what pedals would look like if they had pedals in the Fallout world. You know, those Fallout games. What is the Broadside? I've got some specs and information on it on my phone, so apologise for that. It kind of was inspired by watching an episode of that pedal show. We're all inspired by watching that pedal show, but he was inspired by an episode where they used an overdrive pedal to turn down the gain of another pedal or the amp. So basically using an overdrive pedal like the volume control on your guitar, so you turn it down. So it does that really well, and it's a really useful and also quite a unique thing that you don't see a lot of, actually using an overdrive pedal to turn your amp down and make it cleaner. It does so much more than that. It goes all the way from decreasing volume all the way to boosting, and you get a mild overdrive to kind of this sort of that fuzz where it fuzzes out on the bottom end and just sounds crazy cool, and that's my favourite setting on this pedal. You may have noticed that this has got 2 foot switches. Now this is not a stock Broadside. Stock Broadside just comes with 1 foot switch, but that he says they're basically, you can customise them to your heart's content. And you know, the stock Broadside comes at around £80, and there's so many optional extras. So this left foot switch switches between a modern MOSFET transistor to a vintage reclaimed NOS military spec transistor. He knows that it's a NOS military transistor because he personally got it from his last ship that he was stationed on. And that's so cool. He says he's been to war with the transistor in this pedal. How cool is that? And I love that personal touch about a pedal. You know, this pedal means a lot to Joe, and that really makes me feel like, you know, it deserves some respect. So like I said, the options are pretty much limitless. Standard unit and standard artwork is £80. This vintage modern foot switch takes up to £90, so still not very expensive. Other options include foot switchable second volume or gain control, a true bypass effects loop, which would be awesome, an added foot switchable gain stage, modded for higher gain, a fat thin switch, or you could even have like a dual enclosure where you put in another pedal next to it. So like I said, options are pretty much limitless. Basically get whatever pedal you want, with like the heart of it is still the Broadside pedal. Awesome. I love that sort of customizability of a pedal and personality of the pedal. This pedal's got such a great personality. For example, there's no really LED. There's an LED inside, but what he's done is just drilled random holes to make the light shine through, and that's cool. I've never seen that done before, and I really like that. It kind of adds to the whole vibe of the pedal and relicness of the pedal. So let's give it a go. I'll be using Music Man, Victory, all that good stuff, and yeah, we'll try a few different settings on the amp as well, just so you can hear an example of this pedal turning the gain and volume down on the amp. So we're checking out the Hello Sailor Effects Broadside with the vintage modern foot switch option. So basically, like I said before, it started out as a way to clean up other overdrives in your amp. If you overdrive your amp hard, it started out as almost like an underdrive, so it cleans up your amp, reduces the volume a little bit, so you can have your lead tone as your amp tone and then rhythm tone as the Broadside. But it does so much more than that. We can get some killer overdrive tones, even up into fuzz tones, and clean boost tones. So it's a really versatile pedal, not to mention the modern vintage foot switches, which is just a nice touch. So clean sound sounds something like this. Music Man into the Victory with a little reverb from the Victory, and we go like this. Broadside with everything at 12 o'clock sounds like this. Let's bump up the volume a little bit. Let's max out the gain and see what kind of tones we get. See, that just sounds like a really nice, natural overdrive that rocks out. When you hit it harder, it rocks out, you know. Nice. That's a really dynamic, really cool. Let's leave that how it is, and let's try out the vintage modern foot switch. So right now I'm guessing it's on the modern side. Let's kick it over. So we switched over to these NOS military transistors there, and that's a really cool tone. As you can hear, it kind of fluffs out on the bottom end, and I really like it when pedals do that. You know, you hear that kind of fuzzing out on the bottom end with the lower string. That's a really cool tone that I really enjoy. So the modern transistors are a little more natural sounding, but the NOS military ones have more of a character. Both really usable, but also just subtly different. And you know, there's enough of a difference there to actually make it worth a while to have the difference between the two. So that's with the gain maxed out. Let's drop the gain down a bit and max out the volume, just so you know, see what we can get. That just shows you how transparent this circuit is. It's really nice. So, you know, we can get clean boost style things from this. Swap it over to the vintage side. This pedal is inspired by, as I've said a few times now, reducing the gain of an overdrive afterwards, or of amp or something. So after the Hello Sailor effects, I've put the fuzz from Puro pedals, the Pug fuzz. So let's just hear what that sounds like. You can go check out the demo of that if you're interested on the channel. It should be online. So yeah, we've got that sound, and then you want to turn it down. So say that's your big rhythm sound, your chorus sound, or even your lead sound. You want to turn it down a little bit for the verses. See, that works, you know, instead of putting on a pedal to make your sound huge, you almost turn off a pedal to make your sound huge. It's just another way of thinking about pedal boards and gain stages and stuff. So that sounds really cool. Let's so that's without the Broadside. Let's turn it back on. The advantage of doing it in a pedal than on your volume knob, I suppose, is that the pedal can be voiced to retain or give back a lot of clarity. You know what I mean? So if I did the same thing just on my volume knob, I don't think I'd get as much clarity. You see what I mean? There's not as much clarity there when you just roll off the volume knob, but the pedal is voiced to give more clarity. See what the vintage transistors sound like. To me, the vintage transistors almost make it sound more Fendery. Maybe it scoops a bit of the mids out. Just sounds a bit sparklier, doesn't it? So let's just recap on what the pedal sounds like on its own with a bit of gain. It sounds like this. So, a super versatile pedal. We have a clean boost, we have an overdrive, we have a kind of almost like a low gain fuzz that fluffs out on the bottom end that sounds killer. And that's before we even start thinking about the underdrive part of the pedal. After that, you can turn another pedal down, so like I was doing with the Pug Fuzz, it would work exactly the same as if you had a high gain amp like a Marshall, you were running the Marshall hot, you wanted to turn it down a little bit, have a clean sound, this pedal would do that. Pretty much limitless options. Here we have the option of the vintage modern transistor. The modern transistor sounds more transparent, more natural. Vintage transistor sounds like it scoops maybe some of the mids a tiny bit, sounds a bit more Fendery, but it also makes it sound, gives it a bit more character, gives it a bit that fluffy bottom end that sounds really cool. So I really recommend you go check out Hello Sailor Effects. They've got quite a big Instagram page, 4,000, 5,000 followers. So I really recommend you go check them out. Joe is a really cool guy. He really helped me out by, letting me know what everything does on this pedal. Also looks super cool. That's not going to look out of place on a high-end board. It looks killer with the relicking. I like it a lot. I really like it. So yeah, the Broadside overdrive from Hello Sailor Effects. Thanks guys for checking out the video, and I shall see you in the next one. See you later.